Thanks for staying with us. So, the issue of the Southern Governors meeting that they had in Lagos on Monday is still trending. Nigerians are still reacting to the communique that was released based on their meeting. We discussed yesterday on the issue of rotation of the presidency to the South, which was agreed. We discussed also the fact that they said the 3% should be reversed back to 5%. They condemned the 30% that was allocated to investing in the Chad basins from the profits of the oil revenue, and quite a number of things. And Nigerians are still reacting to various parts of these communiques. Some are even saying their meeting was totally divisive. You know, I'm referencing the ADP national chairman. Let me get his name here. He was saying specifically that some parts of their meeting was quite divisive, such that they're supposed to be meeting to see what can bring the country together and not divide the country. This was by Mr. Yabagi, the ADC chairman, national chairman. And he was also saying that there has to be a way where the governors are working together, because you don't want to make the North feel that you are working against them, because that in itself is a threat to our democracy, in the sense that the North has the largest chunk of voting power, and they can actually sway votes to their side if they are not happy about what is happening with the governors. So what are your general thoughts on this? I mean, we touched on it yesterday. We focused more on the electoral reform, but we'd like to hear Nigerians' views on the meeting, and why are our governors meeting? Why do they feel the need? I'm told today, even today, I think, they are meeting with the lawmakers, the Southwest, are meeting with the lawmakers, their lawmakers, to discuss and harness what they've agreed. And even the Southern governors, I'm told, no, the Southern lawmakers, also, I read in the papers today, also met, and they are aligning themselves with what the governors have said. So the question, therefore, is this the new way? Is this the new approach? Why are the governors feeling it's important to have these meetings? And now that they've all somewhat aligned, what is the next step? Are they going to the House? What is the next move? What are your thoughts? You can call us, please, on our numbers. We'd like to hear your views, 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-9076-948. You can send us messages on YouTube and also on Facebook. What are your general thoughts on these meetings? And now they're going to be having their meetings in Lagos. And I'm thinking, okay, is this the new way of resolving issues? And would this make the northern governors feel alienated or totally removed from the decision-making? What are your general thoughts? Let me start with Nima.
Okay. Let me just say one of the things that caught my attention, which I think is very important, and I also feel that this particular one actually unites the South and the North, is that on election matters, where the Governors Forum is rejecting the removal of electronic transmission of the results in the Electoral Act. I do not understand why this was even something that the National Assembly think that they had to take out of that act. And so when we also spoke with the spokesperson for Ariwa Consultative Forum, they also showed their displeasure, for that. And for me, it shows that Nigerian leaders, North and Southern leaders, are on the same page as Nigerians. We just want a better electoral process, want a free, fair, open, process. And that's all Nigerians are asking for. And I haven't seen any good reason for the removal of that particular thing, of that particular one from the act. So for me, this is welcome conversation. And I guess when we go through the rest, we'll see how it may be divisive. I don't see that yet.
Was asking.
Aside from before we analyze the issue, I just want to ask, where is the governor and the representative of the governors of Cross River and Anambra States? They both were absent.
They were there.
And they were both.
No, they were absent. Yeah, they were absent. Yes. They sent their representative. Yeah.
No. For Cross River.
Yes.
No. So Cross River did not send a representative, and I think that when we're trying to work together, we must all be present. We all have one goal. Our goal is one, and I'm happy that the first thing they did was to reiterate that we are all working for the unity like that, of Nigeria.
He's in alignment. It was just that there was an excused absence.
And I think if he's allowed not to come if he's not clear.
No, he's an excused absence. No, he's part of the alignment.
So dissenting is okay.
Just wanted to
I think that in this present-day Nigeria, we must admit that certain things are becoming too obvious. The imbalance is becoming too obvious. The president continue, and his Attorney General, when he speaks, continue to speak as if these other people, what are they even saying self? So we must continue, we must reflect a one Nigeria agenda.
Yes.
If somebody has any grievance from any part of Nigeria, and there's no minority again, like YK said yesterday, minority don't finish. Everywhere you don't wake up. There's no three major tribes. That thing don't die since. We are now one Nigeria, and we must, when somebody rises up and says, my region is suffering this, as a federal government, as a unified government, we must look at that issue holistically. Let me finish. So the southern governors have continued to echo things in their region till they felt the need to have a Southern Governors Forum. And they had the meeting in Delta State. And the reaction following the Delta State was the president saying they should go and look into solving problems in their region, which they are doing now. Amotekun was as a result of them asking them to find ways to solve problems. And they're doing it now. And, you know, so the criticism of the person that, you know, you quoted just now, I just wanted to respond. That, you know, when my house is having problem, now me know where from the leak, now me know where the foundation get problem. Yeah. So when I'm talking that there's a problem here, you can, if your house does not have the same problem, does not take away the problem I have at home.
But Nima, let me cut you off.
The reaction.
We have to see things from all sides.
No, I'm not disputing.
I'll come back to you because when a Yabagi is saying, let me read it. Let me quote him. He said that when you look at the grazing issue, insecurity, and issue of politics of 2023, how can we have elected officials and governors, for that matter, coming and wanted to emphasize things that divide us? So, in his own perspective, these are things that divide us. Also, he said, it's unfortunate that we don't have governors today coming together on issues of principles. These governors are not anything better than Igboho or Kanu or any other person who's elected. So he's saying that, so for him to be speaking that way, he feels that these governors are not understanding their own side of things. He has lost proper information of what is currently happening in the country, or he has lost the sense of history himself. Now, these governors, per states, were rising up to complain about the incursion into farmers' quarters in their various states. Their grazing reserves, to the extent that you had Governor of Ondo invoke an old law and say, my grazing reserve, no, I must take records of who comes in. People trying to find solutions to problems that were real, and you were discountenancing the problems because you're safe somewhere else and your problem is different. That's not how problems are. No, as we are on this table now, is not safe, Nima. Everywhere, there's no way
I said different. Yeah. As we are now, we can't have the same problem. Yeah. So I cannot say that, Moriah, what happened? I have wearing red glasses. Is that what the whole world is wearing on? That's not my business. Right. If you have a problem with your site and you chose the frame that you are using, it's solving your problem.
Okay, let me come to Miriam in this second.
This quick, please, let me land this point. This quick reaction to what people are saying, without objectively looking at it as a problem that needs solution, is where we are here.
Okay, all right. So, let me let you jump in here.
Please. I am happy about this meeting. I'm happy that we're speaking with one voice, and I'm happy that there is a resolve. And, you know, many times we complain that you are in the government, these governors are in government, you are in power. How can you see something happening and you say you cannot affect, you are not influencing what is going on? Obviously now, there is a clear statement of intent on the part of governors on how they feel the National Assembly can make things better for them in their states. And they've made it clear. These are the policies you are about to sign. We don't agree with it. We are a federation. We are a republic. No one part should have the right to say another part, what they are saying is inconsequential. It's like you have 3 children and your children, one of them is complaining and you're saying what you're saying is dividing the family. No. If you want a united family, you listen to everybody and you try to make it work. As it is right now, we must have a president that is listening. You cannot have governors in your country meeting and releasing communiques second time that they're releasing communiques, and you are not officially welcoming them, listening to them, and saying, we would address what you have written like this, like this, like this, especially from the National Assembly side.
When we come back, because I want you to understand something, we have a Northern Governors Forum. We have Southwest, South-South, and Southeast Governors Forums. Would it have been better if the governors had decided within their forums that is recognized, discuss with the lawmakers within their states, and take to the National Assembly? But you coming together on the Southern Belt, having a bit in itself is a whole other body language. When we talk about, we'll come back after this break to discuss more on that. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still on the issue on these I don't want to use bragado by the 17 governors of the South, you know. And many people are reacting to the meeting, the communique that was brought out. And people are saying, is this the way forward? I mean, is this how we're going to get things done? And we know the governors have tried to meet the president separately. They've had several meetings on this. And we're suddenly seeing a situation whereby the governors are now saying they're going to have frequent meetings. And even giving almost an ultimatum. I think on September 1st, they talked about the grazing bill. Mariam, what are your thoughts on this before we bring in our guests to clarify?
So one of the things is that I know that many people, when things come out like this, many people will respond. And for me, I think it's important for us to wait until we know who the representative for each group is, and then hear their response to respond to them, because not everyone that speaks is representing the group. So this particular person that we have highlighted, who is he speaking for? Is he speaking for the whole of the northern Nigeria? Is he speaking for northern governors? Is he speaking for the federal government of Nigeria? Or is he speaking for himself and maybe his group of people? So we need to put that aside first of all. Then secondly, you know, I just needed to, because we had the spokesperson for Arewa Consultative Forum, and we've talked about these grazing routes with him. And many people, and that's the thing I always question is, there's a narrative out there that says, the North does not want you to discuss the grazing routes, the North does not want you to discuss headers. And then when you have representatives from the North come out and speak, they say, actually, we are down with this. We have spoken with governors and we have spoken with our counterparts in the South, and we agree. So here there's a forum, a virtual meeting of Northern Governors Forum held on February 9th this year, 2021, and the members unanimously resolved to ban open grazing. According to the communique issued at the end of the meeting, it stated that the growing wave of insecurity in the country, particularly as it relates to circulation of unverified. Anyway, by the end of the communique, what they said is that there needs to be a separation between criminality and proper heading. And so they understand that what they are talking about is not that they want to stop people from carrying out their normal businesses. Because at first, in the North, people thought you're coming against a certain ethnic group and you're coming against their business. But they're saying, no, we're coming against criminals and those who are and those carrying out acts of criminality. And if we already have that on ground, why would then conversations further, you know, talking about this become a divisive or divisive?
Thank you very much, Mariam, for bringing it up, because Mr. Yabagi is an individual, so he's possibly speaking for himself. And just like you said, ACF is a pressure group, so they can only speak. They don't have any laws enforcing that any law enforcing their utterances. But let me. I wanted to take this call from Bright. He's been holding for a while. Bright, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Good
here.
morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, hi, you guys. Thank you very much for this lovely topic. Let me start from the point of the grazing. I don't have problem with the Southern governor banning grazing, but I think I have not seen them mention the solution to banning grazing. Let me give you an example. In the old Western region, we have ranches that the Western government built in Ondo, Oyo, and somewhere in Ogun State. If you ban people from grazing, also create a business aspect of it. I want you guys to also ask the governors, when you ban this grazing, people will still continue to eat meat. People will continue to eat goat meat. Do they also have a provision in that law that also creates ranches in each of the states? Meaning that having banned grazing, having banned people bringing in these things, they have created another loophole for people to start doing ranches. That's one. The second one, regarding the presidency, I think the governors had no issues. I don't have issues with them saying they will support the Southern governor. But let me ask this question. Can a Southern person become a president without the Northern? Can the Northerner become a governor without the Southern or the Western? So what I expect them to do, when it comes to discussing the issue of the presidency going to the South, they also need to bring their counterparts from the northern part of Nigeria for all of them to agree, let's do this. I'm not saying they know they are right, but also let them know that they are in the picture, not just come to the group and agree. And then the third one is the fact that I don't also see them discussing the local government issue. Our local government in the West, in the South, are completely dead. Even though there is a Supreme Court law that said that allow the judge, allow the local government to remain. Like in Oyo State, a Supreme Court does pass a judge that the governor has no power to remove the local government chairman. And the governor come out blankly and said, I will not support that judgment. And yet, the same governor got the same judgment to keep him as a governor from Supreme Court. But yet, nobody speaks about it. These are things I expect them to speak about.
Yeah.
So
thank you very much. See, I'll come to you, Tokwe, in a moment, because I think we've also heard from various groups saying that, listen, you can't just ban open grazing like a magic switch. You need, it's a process. These are things that people have been doing for many, many years. And I think it was the ACF representative that was saying that there's even a sample project going on, I think it's either Kogi or Kwara, where they are seeing the ranches. They are big. You can hardly see these herders go around the country because they've exposed them to modern ways of actually raising their cattle. So these, if you ban open grazing, are you doing it while you'll be insensitive to people who have been running businesses for centuries, saying, you know what, this thing, you can do it, you can ban it, but can we take it? Is there a process? Can you give them time to be able to expose them to these new ways of doing this and not expect that everybody just stop it?
No, Murayo, I know that we're trying to be balanced. You know, we try to take both sides of the options, but the fact is there have been several options on the table in the past 6 years. Ruga was launched almost 4 years ago.
Which we all opposed.
The Ruga settlement idea was launched. There was NALTP.
Yes.
That was a proper framework.
Which we all spoke against. I was there.
We supported
you. I'm talking about Nigerians. I'm telling you
Nigerians
Nigerians.
supported the NLTP. The one by the vice president.
Yes.
They did not like Ruga because Ruga was ceding land to them. Many states have already created frameworks. Many states have created frameworks for cattle rearing in a static position. What they are against and what everybody is against is the open grazing of moving interstate. The reason, and we can't give time to this anymore because we've had several criminal elements infiltrating successfully this noble trade that has been on for centuries. But now we cannot decipher between the right or wrong, and to protect human beings, we need to stop this line of action. Right. So but that's on one side. The other thing that I really, really want to talk about is there are two policies that the governors have spoken on. And many Nigerians have already reiterated it, and nothing happened. Concerning the electronic voting, a lot of Nigerians clamored that, no, this is wrong, before it was removed. Also, the 3% and 5% issue, clamored about it. Nothing was done. Now the governors have already released a communique. I'm expecting, as a citizen who supports this part of the issues, that the House of Assembly and the General Assembly should address what the governors have said. If they are representing people and people are already saying the same thing.
Yeah, I have a call, Bashir. We're waiting for a while. I'll come to you, Mariam. Okay. Bashir, are you still there? Oh, for Mina, I do apologize. Go ahead, Mariam.
Yeah, so I also wanted to add that I remember in the news when the Kano State governor was talking about ranching in Kano State and what they have started. And we applauded him here, you know. I've heard also, you know, many other governors, I think Kogi State, talking about different steps that they are taking concerning ranching, and the conversation has been had. We had the Ondo State governor. I remember after the Southwest governors had a meeting as well, and he came to explain to us exactly what they mean and the process that they want to put in place concerning ranching. So this is not just a law that they're saying we're banning it and we don't want to have anything to do with it. They understand that there's a process and they're putting it in place, and some northern governors are already on board. So sometimes for me, I feel that we tend to just go back and forget the progress that has been made concerning in conversations just so that we have something to argue about.
Right.
So this is information for Bright and any other person thinking like Bright that you're just banning something.
No.
But see, Nima, I'll come to you now because, you see, if the governors on the South are having these meetings with their lawmakers, you know, in the West, you can actually know who voted what. You can go and meet your representative. You voted against this thing. Why? Could you defend that to us? Here is yay, nays. We need to have a way whereby you register your position. We need to know, because we need to know who is working against.
There's a framework for proper voting within the National Assembly. They just choose not to use it.
Because the truth is that we have gotten to that point where we need transparency of this process.
The first things I think the governors of the southern governors are doing that I love is the fact that they first of all reach a common goal. So we are clear. It's not that Wike will say, no, I'm not with Akeredolu tomorrow. Who are they in Bayelsa? No, that's not. They first of all made sure they're on the common goal. They now went back. You know, yesterday I was just saying, how do they think without their representatives within the National Assembly, how do they think they would, you know, affect this? They went back now. Within each state, they are meeting their representatives, their lawmakers. So when they all sit on a common goal, we are clear on this side of town. what our problem is and how we want to solve it.
We don't have it to the results.
No, we're not denying the entity Nigeria. We're only saying, let's be clear where we are so that we're not divisive and we're further divided within our house as to what
Okay, point taken.
So when they go together, like the one we have in the PIB, we clear what we are demanding and why we want it.
Yeah.
So everybody, once you have your items and your problems itemized, everybody can sit down and discuss it per problem and say, okay, this is where we are. We're not saying the country should divide. All right,
I have a lawmaker has been holding for Honorable Leke Abejide from Yagba Federal Constituency in Kogi State. He's a member of House of Representatives. Good morning, sir. Are you there?
Good morning, but I can't see you.
Okay, thanks for joining us. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this, the meetings the governors of the southern region of Nigeria have had. They came out with a communique. What are your general summations on that meeting and the fact that they're meeting with you and your colleagues to align? Tell us the nature of what you've agreed so far.
Thank you so much. My name is Honorable Leke Abejide, member representing Yagba East, Yagba West, Mapamu Federal Constituency. I'm from Kogi State. Well, to me, it's not a new thing because I'm from the north. As you heard, Kogi is part of northern Nigeria. And we have been having the meetings of 19 northern governors. So for the southern governors to have meeting is not a crime. To me, it's a good moment because they'll be able to articulate their problems and then solve it at once instead of individually working separately. Well, I listened to the communique as read by the governor of Ondo State. I didn't see anything bad in that communique.
God bless you.
What they are saying, if you look at most of our resolutions too in the House, it's almost the same thing. So I don't see anything that is bad there. So if you notice anyone or if you know anyone, let me know. So
Honorable, give us a clear picture of what happens in the National Assembly. Because from what Nima has said, from the southern part of the House, we are clear. What are you doing to lobby or to discuss with your northern counterparts to get some kind of to get a feeler of where they stand on these issues raised by the southern governors? Are you making headway?
Like what is you mentioned them one after the other.
So the first thing we're talking about the electoral process, for example. We're supposed to have that bill carried out this month. The issue of removing the electronics and transmission of the results of elections, number one. Number two, the 3%.
There is nothing. Let us take it one after the other.
Okay.
The issue of electronic transmission of results. You have had, I think, two of my colleagues. Honorable Governor Magaji was on channels yesterday. Honorable, are you hearing me?
Very clearly.
Honorable Bobs was in Politics Today yesterday evening. I listened to both of them. And it's very clear that there is nothing like removal of these clauses you people are talking about. And I would suggest that you should wait and see what is going to happen. I can tell you 90%, if not 100%, members of House of Rep, I can speak for them, are in support of electronic transfer of results and electronic voting.
Okay.
So we are not going back to Stone Age.
So that's fine.
Improving.
Okay, point taken. Let's take another one.
On the PIB, sir, do you agree with the Southern Governors Forum on 30% share profits that they rejected for the NNPC?
I can't hear you.
The Southern Governors rejected the 30% share profit from the NNPC Limited that was supposed to be proposed, that was supposed to be used for exploration of, of oil in the Chad Basin, Gombe Basin, Anambra Basin, and all those other areas.
Is it for me?
Yes.
Now, the question is that there is a proposed 30% that will be used to explore oil in some other locations, in other regions. And the governors of the South are saying they don't want it. They have rejected that clause in the proposed bill that's passed.
I, for one, I'm in support of that. And the issue of the PIB on host communities that gave them 5%, I think if you look at the House of Rep too, when the same page with them, it's 5% that was passed in the House, and it was 5% that was passed with a joint committee of House and the Senate. It was at the floor of the Senate that they changed it, but I believe
that's the equity.
People are looking at the quantum of money. They are not looking at the resources that is taken away. To me, it's percentage we are working on.
Honorable, I want you to be very clear. We understand your own position, no doubt. It's very clear from the South. We're saying to give us feelers of your colleagues in the North, what their vision, what their own positions are. So one thing they have to be 30%.
On the issue of 5% or 30%?
Both. What is their own issue? What's their position on the issue of
30%? We are one. We are the same. I mean, on the issue of 5% for host communities, it's the same, both North and South in the House of Representatives. It's the same thing. There's no difference.
Okay.
Okay, yes, there's a question that, we had a caller ask, and it's about the president moving from... Okay, so, there's another one where the Southern governors are saying that the next president should come from the South. And because we've had a Northern government, so it's like a, transfer right now. Is that the best way to go? And for me, these conversations always makes me feel like we do not put the Nigerian citizens in the picture. Just that someone decides, or a group of governors decide that a president should come from the South, is that enough to guarantee that that person will come from the South if the citizens decide to go with whoever that they want to and they believe can do the job?
In a democracy, the beauty of it is you are free to choose whoever you want to govern you. But in our peculiarity here in Nigeria, because of the diverse tribes and ethnic group that we have in Nigeria, there must be principle of understanding ourselves. You see, I'm from the North, but I'm a Yoruba by tribe. You heard me?
Yes.
I cannot say now that I'm in the North, now the presidency has been with us for 8 years, the presidency should not remain here. What am I going to think about the other part of the country? They will be, after some time, they feel that they're not part of this country. And a lot of crises, just like you are witnessing now, we even multiply in geometric progression. I will support the move that after President Buhari finishes his term, the presidency should move to the South. When you get to the South, they can decide whether it's going to Southeast, Southwest. Because the South that just finished not quite long ago.
Honorable, you see, I really need clarity, and I don't think I've gotten that clarity. And I want to be sure that even you have an understanding of what your counterparts from other parts of the country feel or believe. So let's go back to the 3% for host communities. What we have read in the papers is that what was agreed in the House is that only 3%, as opposed to the 5%, should be given, if that is what was agreed. Now, if that is so, we understand from your own side of town, you voted for 3%. My question to you, therefore, those who wanted, so you voted for 5%. Those who wanted 3%, what was their position? Why did they agree? What position?
Maybe you didn't listen very well to me.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't listen very well to me. I said what was agreed by both the joint committee of House of Representatives and that of the Senate is 5%.
Okay.
It was at the floor when they were discussing the matter before the passage. At the floor of the Senate, that somebody raised the issue of 3%. It led to a situation where they wanted to call for division.
Okay.
But that didn't happen in the Green Chamber where I am.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Listen to me. It is not the decision of the National Assembly. That 3% is the decision of the Senate.
Okay.
House of Representatives is still standing on 5%.
Okay. Thank you for that clarity. I really appreciate it. Yes, go ahead, Nima.
So,
Okay.
aside this, the Southern governors also, propose some security solutions to.
I can't hear you.
The Southern governors also propose solutions to the insecurities that they suffered in the area.
They propose what?
They propose state policing. They also propose that, the henceforth agencies must collaborate or inform the governors of each state before they come into the state to carry out any assignment in their states.
It's not clear. I can't hear you very well.
Okay, so let me help Nima with that. One of the other things the governors agreed was that before any security operatives come into their state to carry out an operation, they must inform the chief security officer, which is the governor. Now, our question to you, therefore, is, are you in agreement? And if you are, do you think it is possible for this to be agreed by the entire House of Assembly, the National Assembly?
Well, if you say I'm the chief security of my state, then before you even start doing anything security, I should be aware. Okay? You should first of all inform me. To me, it's not even the northern governors, not only southern governors, they would buy the idea too. I believe so. Because you say I'm chief security of my state, and then you just come and start operation without getting me informed. You come to my house without telling me you want to work in my house. So it is a normal thing, but it's a creation of the Constitution. This one now is a constitutional matter. They can agree on it, but if it's not changing the Constitution, it will be difficult to operate that way. So I believe it's a creation of the Constitution, and then once the Constitution is amended to read it that way, it will work that way. But on a general agreement, just a simple agreement between one person or three people, that one does not give it a legal backing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think we can wrap up with you. Thank you so much, Honorable Abejide, for joining us this morning. We appreciate your thoughts on this. We'll continue to follow up with the lawmakers to see how the meetings you're having with the governors, how it plays out, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this.
Thank you. And
so
I appreciate.
Coming back to the ladies, I mean, you've heard from one of our lawmakers. It seemed that everybody seemed to be in agreement. And there is no dichotomy, as we say, because initially we're thinking that, there's this huge division. But it seems like most of them are aligned based on what he's saying.
But there were enough people within the Senate to make the 5 drop to 3.
Yeah.
There were enough people to make that change. There was enough support for the 3% that the decision by a committee to put peg at 5% was changed on the floor based on debate. So I still think that, I think that Nigerians, Mariah, you said it before the election, all of us reiterated it during that time. We need to pay attention to who is representing us at the National Assembly level, because they can make and our mouths and their decisions impact us on a huge scale. So these policies, he is unaware of the removal of electronic voting, because in the floor of House of Representatives was passed, but at the Senate, what came out is different. Same thing, they passed 3%, what came out is different. Same thing, they did not support 30%, what came out is different. So what is happening at the Senate that seemed not to correlate with what is going on the floor of the House of Representatives? We need to discuss that, and we need to get them to explain why they are making changes.
Do you have any comments we want to take, please?
Okay, we have plenty of comments.
Please go ahead. Let's take a few comments on this.
Andrew in StarTimes says, we need just 2 visionary...
While we're taking that, let me take Michael. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
You're live. Go ahead, please, Michael.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly. Go ahead.
Yeah, I need to make some few comments. We have a situation where elected governors in the South came together and suggested, in their view, what they feel will resolve the
It's not very clear, sir. We really want to, the audio is bad. We really want to hear you. Want to try to start over? Okay, let's take a few comments. Nima, go ahead, please.
Okay, Andrew says, we just need 2 visionary leaders ruling 8 years each. And I can say confidently Nigeria is on its way to greatness. All the others are on the 5-year jail term for protesters.
We'll talk about that later. Yes.
Someone says, Onyewu Maria Santa says, as a matter of fact, it's really unbelievable to know we're still discussing this open grazing. Even those involved, I mean the real individuals staying for days without bathing in the face of insecurity and harsh weather, are said to be tired of this. People making this noise obviously appear to be those using it for politics.
Let me take Garba. Good morning, are you there?
I'm here, Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning to the ladies in the studio. You see, my take on this, I'm from North. Sometimes when I hear some issues, like we from the North, we are not kind of being understanding with people from the South. It's not good. All the things that is happening in the country, I bet you, we need opposite of President Muhammad Buhari. That's fact. And what is happening in the North is underreported. That's fact. We are not happy with what is happening in the country. Issue of rotation for equity. If we come to the North, I believe that we support anybody that comes from the South for equity. That's fact. Thirdly, issue of open grazing. It's high time. I'm a Muslim. Islamically, it's not allowed. Because you cannot control more than 1, 2, 3, up to 20 cattle without encouraging others for the privilege. That's fact. They know that. And even governors, I tell you, governor of Katsina State, governor of Kano State, governor of, I think, either Plateau or Kaduna Rotary, said it categorically, open grazing cannot continue in Nigeria. That's fact. For peace to reign. Look at when. And all these issues, food tribes, clean themselves, fly near our house, I want coffee. You understand? We have to tell ourselves the truth. And we have to say it out. You ask yourself, what comes so bad? It's because of open grazing. And if they need, let's stop it. If they have to stop, it's a high time with this federal control to stop open grazing. But what I'm saying, I agree with what Bryce said. What provision did the government make to kind of train us together how to go about ranching? That's where we are getting it wrong. Up to now, none of them provide a solution to the issue. We keep on memorizing.
Right. Thank you very much, Garba, for your comments on this. Do you have any more comments? We'll be wrapping up on this in a minute, but I think generally we all agree, and I think across the board, everybody agrees that open grazing is not sustainable. Just how to go about it. Not anymore. Some people want it to happen almost immediately to stop. Others are saying, give it time. You know, people are not used to these new modernized methods, and they need time to begin to adjust. Let me take this call before we run off. Good morning, are you there? Hassan.
Good morning, all of you.
You're live, go ahead, please.
My contribution about this North-South divide, please, the governor should stop it. The northern governor should also stop it. Where are our leaders? Have they gone to bed? Where are our leaders? That should call Mr. President to order, should call the governors to order, should call our senators and House of Representatives to order. Enough of divide and rule in this country. No northerner is against a southerner becoming a president after Buhari. It's a very clear issue. Zulu came out and said it. Governor of Kano State came out and said it. The Viceroy of Katsina State came out and said it. All this issue of southern governors coming out to make a cheap popularity, I don't understand it. Nobody is against a southerner becoming. No any part of this country can make president. Buhari became president via collaboration with southern Nigeria. Abiola was voted mostly by northern Nigeria. So please, enough of this divide and rule. Nobody is against anybody. Our former head of state should call everybody to order, from president to governor, to everybody. Let them fall in line. We are for peace in this country. Nobody wants violence, please. Enough is enough. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Hassan.
I also believe that we should not see anybody's agitation or comments as a move to divide the country. The governor's statement was that they believe in one Nigeria, but if individuals feel disgruntled in the elements, there won't be stability all around. So the president should have a meeting with all the governors. Let's stop releasing papers over and over. Let everybody discuss it on a round table, agree, and then implement. It's that simple. The problems are not that much. It's very simple.
I think the South governors are doing it right. They're doing it right. I think that is the step that you should take. You meet, you have a conversation, you take it now and see if you can get the legislature can legislate on it and legal backing. They're doing it right. And I know that because we've talked to the Ondo State governor before, where that they'll carry this conversation and have it with the northern counterparts. This is one Nigeria. That is all we're asking for. And we're saying that for Nigeria to work, if I feel disgruntled in a certain way, I should be able to table what my matters are, have it resolved, and then you see it from my point of view, and we move forward. This is not about anything. I do not see it as divisive, I don't think, and I think only mischievous people would say
they are
so.
meeting.
Yes.
Let me take Benga. Benga, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I have a question for the House, and the question is: we have said that we should give the cattle rearers some time to settle down and prepare fully well towards ending the open grazing. But my own question now is: what happens to the farmers? Their farms are being encroached on a daily basis. Their investment wasted. The farmers killed, raped, and maimed on their farms. What happens to them? Are we going to put them on pending as well? So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I mean, these are tough questions to ask, and that's one of the reasons why Governor Akeredolu was very clear. Those of you who are going to be in the forest, register with us. Let us know who is legitimately doing business, because they have been infiltrated, we've been told, by the various foreigners, killer headsmen from different parts of the neighboring states. So the point is that let us register this. Let's know who you are.
It's like we just like to, go back and forth in circles. So he had a problem, and he could not catch anybody. Of course, data is a problem. So he wanted everybody in the state operating in this area of business to be registered, so that if you're not registered and there's a crime, we can trace. We can find someone, because the farmer whose farm was raised overnight by cows has to redress that wrong. How does he redress it if he cannot find whose cattle? And if he goes on a personal confrontation, somebody will be killed. And then there will still be no redress for that. So we cannot continue to go back and forth, reprisal, and color every crime with ethnicity and some other big English that Nigerians like to speak. So it is a crime that I plant in my farm and I cannot harvest it. It is a sacrilege. Yes, now, because it takes a longer period of time to plant and wait certain products crops to grow. Now, it is also a crime that I am rearing my cattle and somebody come and rustle it. It is a sacrilege. And that wrong has to be redressed. And we can only do that and achieve it by data. When people are now responding with solutions that we are looking towards, that will get us closer to that data, and we can address somebody. These are even personal issues. If your cattle chop my tomatoes, I can sue you and recover what I projected to grain at the point of harvest.
You simply pay me, because your cattle, you will sell your cattle. Your cattle will get fat, you will sell. And me, I've lost my own.
President in Aso Rock, where he's busy doing other things. And those are personal issues. But these 100%. Issues become state government issues, because there's no way to reach the person who carries out the wrong. And that's what they are looking at.
Unfortunately, but that's all we can take on this show. But I think we'll be able to understand better, and we'll continue to follow up the story and watch the next move of his group of 17 southern governors. Nice. That's all we can take. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.